Well, welcome, young and old, to the greatest escape room talk show here on the internet. We are live with Puzzle Talk. I am Tone, with you as always, and also opposite me, Christina.
Hello.
Hi, Christina.
Hi, Tone.
I was just about to say, how was your weekend for the audience, but we already had this conversation, so it's a little pointless. We got some juicy topics to discuss today, but first and foremost, we do want to give ourselves a little pat on the back because we just had the most record-breaking greatest month of our entire business with Trapdoor. 1 million, no, we didn't make $1 million this month, but we did a good 18,000 over our best month. And Freak Show, as a result, had our best premiere. So, to everyone who says that games don't do major premieres anymore because everybody waits and this and that, Freak Show did. So, we're super excited, super stoked that we were able to open up a game that did so well. And Cure Z in the Poconos, it actually pretty much matched it. It was an amazing month for Cure Z. Hands down, Cure Z's best month since it opened in the Poconos. So that was we had a lot of marketing issues out there. New territory. Just like when we opened in Morristown, massive fights over signage. And we're still in the midst of that. So in our Poconos location right now, we lost our building sign. The town changed all the ordinances and they made us pull the street sign. So currently we have like one tiny little rectangle on like the main Fountain Court sign, and we are not happy about this situation. But having said that, we still had Cure Z's best month ever in the Poconos. So super awesome. And our team building events have been doing phenomenal, and we've even been asked to work some marketing for another company in our area in Morristown. So they're looking to contract us for some cool things like a talking horse head. So, really interesting things. It's an interesting year on the horizon for Trapdoor, and we're happier than ever for the future. So things are kind of a little back to normal.
Yeah.
Last week, we ended up at an event that ran really late in Lodi for an off-site team building event, and it took up a big majority of our staff. So that's why we weren't live last week, if you were waiting in bated breath. So we're back. We don't have anything booked in our Monday slot for a little while, so hopefully we'll be good for a little while as well. So, first topic, Christina, we're talking about John Wick. Have you seen any of the John Wick movies?
I have.
Funny story. I have not. So, what are the John Wick movies about?
I've only seen the first one, and
okay.
All I know is his dog dies and then he goes on a murdering rampage.
I guess I would do that if my dog died.
Someone kills his dog, so he goes on a murdering rampage to kill them.
Okay, so his dog didn't just die of old age and he decided to go kill a lot of people.
Something along those lines.
Someone killed his dog.
Yep.
And then he went after a lot of people.
Yep.
So I hear like he's this unstoppable martial arts force with some of the greatest action scene choreography in the history of cinema.
Sure.
Which the fight choreographer for the John Wick movies is now on, it's either Birds of Prey or Suicide Squad, one of the two. I don't recall. But I know people were very excited for that. So, the reason we're talking about John Wick is because in London, there is a free John Wick escape room. John Wick Excommunicado. And very similar to how Hollywood's been doing things like the Saw escape in Vegas. And this is going to have costumes and props from the movies displayed. It's September 7th. One day only in London. So 17th? If you're in the area, get your tickets. Yeah, September 17th.
Okay.
So yeah, they have plenty of time.
Yeah.
You know, book your tickets now, and your flights, and your hotel, and go to London. Or just come play Freak Show.
Or
if
do
there's
both.
even tickets left. The game is part of a couple of free events, which is really cool. They have like a big bar that's designed to look like one of the bars in the movie, and so it should be a lot of fun. It's really cool when studios do these, like, you know, even if they're one-shot events. It's pretty cool. Yeah, makes the story much more immersive, really cool, and fairly interesting concept. So check it out if you're in the area. We know we have a lot of friends in that area. So next up, another really cool action-packed immersive type of experience. One of the things that I really love, and we did this when we did Windward Hotel in Chester, is the concept of taking a venue that already fits your story and converting it. Because realistically, you can cut your budget into 10% of what it would be. Like, if we were to build an airplane in the building, would probably kill $50,000-$60,000 just on making the airplane. Never mind any of the technological components and puzzles and artwork. You know, like, just making that. And I don't even want to... We'd have to book Mike flights to film outside the cockpit windows for, like, it would be ridiculous for us to make an airplane game, especially the way we do stuff. It would, you know, I would want footage from every single window.
Or you just, like, have some of them sealed shut or something so that it's not every single window.
Well, no, you know what I would actually... No, I don't want to say this live, because if we ever do it, people will steal it and do it. I know how we would do this.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the plane never takes off. But, oh, and by the way, this is also in London. So London's just killing it right now.
Yeah, London's big right now, apparently.
So essentially the way this would work is you're boarding a decommissioned plane. And they shackle you, put you in prison garb, get on the plane. You're being sent to a new facility. And your mission is to escape and follow the clues of someone else who escaped. Now, I don't know how you're supposed to escape if the plane has already taken off. But maybe in the story, the plane doesn't take off yet for whatever reason. Something tells me you're not going to be able to fake that at the end. I mean, like, what are you going to do? Just jump off the plane into a bounce house? So, you know, it's a little tough to do that. I know how I do that part, too. Oh, my God, we're making a plane game. It'd have to be a massive plane, though, to fit, like, you know, because now at our size stuff, it would have to be able to fit, like, 20 people. So it'd have to be
I mean, they're built to fit
big.
A lot of people.
Well, I guess if you got a 2,000 square foot space, you just make the whole thing the plane.
Just make it really cramped and like an unusual airplane.
That's fair. So you get on the plane, you solve your puzzles to escape the plane. But like I said, what I love about this is that they're really using a decommissioned plane. It's so simple, you know, to do as like another game that is technically maybe even on your property, but not, you know, not a new build out in a location. You know, I would love to just, for example, take our upcoming development warehouse space and put a plane on the property and say, you know, here we go. That'd be really cool. So many ideas are hitting my head right now. I know exactly how I would do all of this. So, really, really cool concept. This is not a one-off. This is going to be an ongoing game, unlike the John Wick one. So by all means, go check this out. It seems super duper cool. And if you check it out, please comment and let us know, because I would love to get more details about this game. Especially considering now I really want to make a game on a plane. Now the only question is, so many people are afraid to fly. Would they be afraid to play?
I guess it depends what, like, if some people are probably scared of just airplanes in general, and then I could see them getting, like, claustrophobic being inside of a plane.
Yeah, I could see that getting a little tough. Especially if you go Toy Story mode and you make them actually, like, go down the wheel leg of the plane and, you know, jump down onto a toy horse.
Stay tuned for Trapdoor Escape Room's next project on a plane.
Instead of snakes on a plane, we'll come up with something else.
Puzzles on a plane?
Puzzles on a plane. Well then, anyway, moving on to our main topic of the day, which will eat up most of our time here. Are escape rooms dangerous? Well, there's an article that claims so. And we're going to talk about it. So, this article came out with a lot of details about the dangers of escape rooms, and they directly reference the Poland fire in the article. And, you know, how most of the counties and states have revisited the door lock codes, which I actually have referenced up on the screen here. All right, there you go. NFPA 101 requires the release mechanism of a door to be on the door hardware itself, not activated by a button positioned off to the side. If the lights go out and smoke enters the room, most people will drop to the floor and will crawl to the door and feel for the hardware. If there is a magnetic locking system button off to the side, guests may not be able to find it, especially if they are not familiar with the environment. Does that sound familiar? I remember talking about this on an episode of Puzzle Talk. Something about when the room fills with smoke, you're not finding those buttons.
Probably when we talk about the Poland fire.
Yeah. So, at least they're actually making this a regulation, which is good. I completely agree with this, 100%. I still think that locking the doors is a bad move.
Oh.
But at least this is a major step in the right direction. We're kind of 80% of the way there now. So, you know, if you can pop these doors to release with just a button that's right on the hardware, I think that's a big step. It's not exactly where, you know, we're in maximum safety, but now here's where I kind of take a little issue with the article. The issue really, I felt like it deterred people from playing at all. Not every escape room is out to kill you. Even the ones,
most aren't.
Yeah, even the one where that accident happened, I'm sure they didn't open their business with the intention of people dying. You know, we hear stories all the time, and not just the escape room industry. We have a lot of our staff on our roster at the moment that used to work at a very famous New Jersey theme park. And the stories we have heard about the negligence of safety, and fire safety especially, in their facilities is ridiculous. Now, same token, context becomes a little bit of everything. For example, let's just say that, you know, somebody breaks something in your game, so you do a replacement of it that's a little beefier and eats up more electricity, and you short out the power to that entire wing of your, you know, building. I'm still referencing that theme park, not us. And as a result, you can't be down for the day. It's a Saturday. You're going to be packed. So what are you going to do? You probably, in this case they did, go get one of the power generators, bring it in the building, plug everything into that, and you run off to Jenny. It is illegal to bring a Jenny inside of an indoor space because it's a massive fume and fire hazard. But it would get you through the day. You get through the day and then you fix it. Well, then what if you never get around to fixing it? And I think that's how a lot of those missteps have occurred. And I think the escape room industry is no different. I think a lot of times something happened or something went wrong. A fix was placed in that was not exactly to code, and we'll get around to it, never came. I think sometimes it's literally as simple as that. I don't think anyone's like out to destroy the building or burn it down, or because then you're out of business. What's the good in that?
Yeah.
I think it's just negligence, and I think we can all do a little bit better about rectifying negligence. It doesn't mean that, you know, we vilify every escape room in the world. Part of this article referenced, not just escape rooms, but other immersive entertainment. I'm sure, even Disney, I'm sure, has some of these same negligence issues.
I'm sure everyone does.
Right. Fire marshals are not visiting the facilities every day of the year. Disney has its own fire department, so I'm sure they have a lot of control over what's looked at and what's not. It's not, I think vilifying the entire community of immersive entertainment is a little messed up. So they came up with their very own list of, rules to rule by for the escape rooms. And we're going to go over those and we're going to talk about them one by one. So, rule number 1. Listen to the rules. Before beginning an escape room, the attendant will review all the safety rules to make sure that you are paying attention. I have no qualms about that. Absolutely, 100% listen to the rules. We originally used to do all of our rules physically in person before entering the game. We now do them over video to make sure that all the rules are being presented in the same manner to everyone. Because you never know if you're going to accidentally have an employee that cuts corners, or if they're in a rush, maybe they skip over something. We don't want anyone skipping over anything. So here's the problem though. Once you present them in video, people are less likely to pay attention. We've seen players just start playing. We have our biohazard alarm. We ring it in the event that something like that occurs to try to refocus their attention, and usually that works. But you can only do so much to control what people pay attention to. Any thoughts on this?
I mean, yeah, people are difficult. They don't want to pay attention to the rules usually. They just want to start playing. They don't really care.
Rule number 2. Know how to escape. After the safety rules have been reviewed, if you still have any questions about how to leave, ask. For us, this has always been an easy moment because you're not locked in. We present the emergency exits, and then they're on their way. Because at any point, and we tell them during the game, if you even need to use the restroom or make an emergency phone call, just walk right out, do it, and walk right back in. We're not penalizing anyone for doing that. Apparently, there are facilities that penalize you for leaving the game. Once you leave, you can't go back in, or whatever it may be. I think that is ridiculous. This is an immersive experience. This is supposed to be faux realism. It's not supposed to be true realism.
Yeah.
You can pause a video game. You can, granted, if you leave a movie, the movie's still in play, but it's the same thing here. If you leave the game,
you might miss
your team is still playing. We can't stop the clock and stop the other participants because you need to go to the bathroom or take a phone call. So just like a movie, you're returning to your, already in progress presentation. But I don't think you should be penalized for leaving. Number 3, remain sober. I know it's tempting when out with friends and family to consume alcohol and go find something fun to do, but for your safety, please do not play if you are intoxicated or under the influence of drugs. Agreed. Sure thing. Most of these you're going to find we are probably in agreement with. Also, these are the rules from the author of the article we're talking about, not ours. We're just presenting our opinion on them. If you have any opinions on them, please join us in the chat and let us know. We would love to hear. So remaining sober. That is one of the most dominant pieces on our rules list, is do not play intoxicated. We will kick you out or deny you entry. That said, some people are really good at hiding when they're drunk upon entering the facility. It's really annoying. We had a group about a week ago in Witch Hunt, and when I brought them in, no signs of them being drunk. I went to get them when the game was over. There was a woman in the group that literally couldn't walk straight. She knocked into 2 walls on the way out. And then they went online and gave us like a 2-star review. It's like, maybe if you weren't intoxicated, you would have enjoyed the game or had a clue what the hell you were doing. Long story short, they got through about half the game. And it wasn't until we went to get them that it was like, oh wow, you are bombed. But, we try to discourage that as much as humanly possible. And yeah, please do not come and play our facility if you are drunk. Totally agree. Okay, leave props alone. Props are usually not part of the game and are there to add to visual effects. If something is glued or bolted down, leave it alone. This is a little bit of a almost red herring rule. I don't know if I can completely agree with this. Just because we glue or drill something down doesn't mean it's not an interactive element. It just means we don't want it leaving the position it's in.
I mean, I feel like it depends. Like, that was kind of what I thought they meant by that. But, like, don't force it out of place.
Yeah, but how many times do we always talk about, like, you have to always prepare for the dumbest of the community.
Yeah. And
saying leave props alone does, I think, hinder more towards... Excuse me. Am I done? Nope, I am not done. There we go. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. I heard you through the internet. You're amazing. But I think you got to be a little careful with the wording. I may sneeze again.
Now it's just getting ridiculous.
I apologize. Everyone tune in live to see Tone sneezing fit today at 1:21 Eastern Standard. There's a puzzle there. The degree in which I sneezed and how many sneezes. It's not a puzzle. But yeah, so all I'm kind of getting at with leave props alone is that sometimes you got to be a little careful with language, especially in these articles that are mass market consumed.
Yeah.
Dress accordingly for the challenge. Wear loose-fitting clothing and rubber-soled shoes. Do you know how many of our players are team-building events and they're coming in straight from an office setting and going right back to more conferences or office settings? They're coming in like high-end suits and dresses and high heels, and that's a little much as a rule. It's great as like a try to, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like it's better as a recommended, but it's not like you have to adhere to it.
It's just not going to happen. I wish it would, but what's your dress code? Do you have a dress code? Comment below. Let us know. Here's a good one. Don't destroy the room. Remember that if you're destroying something or breaking something, the game was not designed for that, and you may have to pay for it.
Sounds like a good rule.
That's a good rule. Yeah, I'm on board with that. It's funny how many people get so offended when we say, we're going to have to charge a card for that. It's like you just... And I consider us to be very lenient in regards to this, because if it's something that's like an accidental damage, typically I won't say anything. Like in Witch Hunt, if they come out from underneath that thing and they knock over one of the candles,
it happens.
It happens. It's on us for them not being more secured at that point.
Yeah.
So, they were secure until everyone started wiggling them and ripping them off, and then, we re-adhere them, and then they do it again. So, there's only so much we can do. Animals. But, don't destroy the room. Very good. Okay, leave tools at home. Leave your Swiss Army knife in your pocket, and remember, if the game required tools, they would have provided them for you. This seems like such a no-brainer, but they are on the money with this. Couple weeks ago in QRZ, we have like the stages of zombie virus posters. 2 of the screws were unscrewed. Someone had a pocket knife with a basically like a Swiss Army knife set up with a screwdriver, and they started unscrewing them from the wall.
Why would you even think that's part of the
They thought
puzzle?
there might have been something behind them. Sure, if they weren't screwed to the wall. Sorry.
I mean, that falls under, like, if you need it, we'll provide it for you.
Right.
We don't just expect you to be carrying around a screwdriver.
In Freak Show, the water pipe wall. 4 screws had to be screwed back in the other day. Somebody was trying to remove the entire thing from the wall. I have a feeling that they thought that there might be connectors behind where the connections are to know like what the order was to put them in.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that before. They've done that with the fuse box in Cure Z, and they do it with the snake pit in Freak Show. Because they like to see at what dial the wire's connected so they could figure out the answer to the combination.
It's cheating.
It's cheating. Don't bring tools in an escape room. Unless you're in Poland.
Why are you playing an escape room if you just want to cheat?
It's a little ridiculous. Okay. Watch out for sharp objects. Sharp objects aren't usually found in escape rooms, but in the cases where there is a letter opener or a Swiss Army knife, use it with caution. If there's broken or damaged equipment in the room, be careful of sharp edges. Duh. Yeah.
I mean, ideally you don't have broken stuff in the room, but...
I know of a company that posts out of order signs on their puzzles.
It's just rude.
In the words of Demantha, so we're being rude now. Demantha is the alter ego of Samantha from our Red Bank location. She was Demantha her entire time in Vegas, I would imagine. Anyway... Sam is the queen of one-liners, and that's like her main catchphrase. One of them.
Yeah.
So we're being rude. Few aren't fit for TV. I was trying to think in my head, and I'm like, nope, I can't say that. Well, I guess I could, but I don't want to.
Probably better.
So, on the note of sharp objects, I know of an escape room company that was recently shut down, and they were shut down for fire code, but I happen to know they had a lot of sharp objects. Matter of fact, they had a chair that was spiked on the surface of the chair, and they were real spikes. It was nails that they put in from the other side, sticking up.
That sounds dangerous.
Even more dangerous when you take into account the fact that it's all almost pitch black darkness.
Yeah.
And you have like a little mini flashlight you could carry around.
That doesn't sound very fun.
No. Then there's another zone of the game where there's all like meat hooks on chains, and they were actually decently sharp hooks. And I tripped and grabbed one right through the actual like horseshoe of it. So got lucky. So yes, don't put sharp objects in. Dull that crap down. We have a sword swallower character in Freak Show. It doesn't mean that we actually put sharp swords in the game. We found some really good foam ones that looked the part. Be wary of electrical sockets. Use common sense and don't put your fingers or other objects in electrical sockets.
That sounds like a no-brainer.
It does, but I've heard a lot of stories about people who have done that.
Why?
Mental retardation? Am I allowed to say that? I don't know anymore. I don't know why anyone would ever think that would be part of a puzzle.
Yeah.
But I know it's happened, and it's happened quite a bit actually. So.
Enough that it warrants being a rule?
Yes. Report hazards. If you notice a safety hazard, report it to an employee so that it can get fixed before someone else gets hurt. Sure.
Yeah.
No, nothing about that. Do not climb on any props or furnishings. Everything you need will be within arm's reach.
That's not necessarily true. I've been to one where you had to climb a bit.
And not for nothing, but within whose arm's reach?
Yeah.
Are you equating for the height-challenged people of the world? Because some people are just born a little smaller. Or what about kids? It's a little over the top. Yeah, I don't know if you could really count that. Play like you are being watched. Because you are. You should never be handcuffed, tied up, or blindfolded while playing an escape game. In the event of an emergency, you must be able to move to the nearest exit without restraint and well-oriented in the event of an emergency. We don't do any of that. But we just talked about how cool that plane ride one would be. And that one said right in the opening, you're shackled.
Yeah.
It's not to say that maybe those shackles are total breakaway, which would be good.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. That's a tough call. A lot of companies use that as an immersion play. So, I don't know. Do you agree, disagree? What's your thoughts on shackles and
I feel like it's okay if the shackles at least are okay if it's breakaway. Same with blindfolds as long as you can get out of it in the event of an emergency. But if it's not easy to get out of, then it's a lot more dangerous, I feel.
Two more. Notify your local fire marshal. If you discover an escape room that's not living up to the safety expectations, especially when it comes to emergency egress, notify the local or state fire marshal. Agreed, but I'm sure a lot of people who read that article and don't have a good time at an escape room are going to call the fire marshal for no reason.
Yeah.
Because people are mean. That, you know, I almost feel like if you're not careful, that could become another form of a Google review. You know, like, I'm gonna screw them up bad because I didn't get my money back. You know, whatever. I'll cost them more than I paid. I could see that happening.
That also takes effort, though, on the person. More effort than...
It does, but we've talked about this before. You know, if one person has a great time, you got about a 20% chance that they're going to leave you a good review. Or any review. But if someone has a bad time, you have more of an 80% chance that they're going to leave a review on Google, TripAdvisor, Yelp, Facebook, and scream it from every rooftop they can find. So they'll probably even take out a column in the New York Times. Like, people go really out of their way when they're mad.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's that. Okay, now for the one I'm not a fan of. Avoid escape rooms when traveling outside of the United States.
They're all evil?
When traveling abroad, you may want to avoid visiting an escape room, especially in a country that doesn't have a very good life safety history. So what? Never ever play an escape room in Poland if you live in Poland? Just be better. See, that's where I was kind of getting at. Like, this is only a snippet from that article. The article talks more about, like, all the different facets of it. But that bullet point alone, I felt, was really messed up. And really vilifying an entire planet of an industry.
Yeah.
The United States is only one place. There's a lot of other countries out there. This is just messed up.
Like, I feel like if you're concerned, it'd be better to just check the codes of the country you're traveling to.
There's that element. You know, here's one of the biggest problems, I think, and this is where this topic brings a lot of this up. We've talked about before, most escape rooms give you no visual of the interior. You have no idea what you're getting into until you're there. So realistically, my favorite word, how do you know what you're getting into from a safety standard?
Yeah.
It's not like you could say, oh, well, escape room X is open. They haven't been shut down, so it must be safe. Fire marshal visits are typically once a year. That's 11 other months that you have no idea what condition they're keeping that place in. You know, it's not like, and that's in the U.S. Like, I don't even know how it is in other places. It could be a completely different market where they come out quarterly in other places, or maybe they don't come out unless there's a situation. You know, once you're opened, you're opened. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Not that I want to, like, you know, sound an alarm, but Pennsylvania was very, very relaxed compared to New Jersey. Now, you know, we did all of the same safety we do in New Jersey that passed with flying colors out there, so I'm not worried. But I'm not worried because I know what we built. It's not to say that if you go into a competitor's place, it's going to be the same situation.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying, like, don't go anywhere else in PA but Trapdoor. Don't go anywhere else but Trapdoor. But, I mean, yeah, we've only got one game. There's 12 months in a year. If you play an escape room a month, obviously you're not playing them all like Cure Z. Unless you do puzzles and corks. Do puzzles and corks. But, you know, it's just, I don't know. There needs to be some kind of way to know what you're getting into a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, how do I get out of a room should be something that is addressed.
I mean, I guess you could always ask, like, when you're looking to make the reservations and, like, kind of test to see if the game masters have any fire safety knowledge. That would be one way to kind of, because I'm sure there are places where the game masters will just kind of blank and be like, what?
Yeah, but on the same token, that doesn't necessarily mean there's not. It could just mean that you got someone on the phone that has no idea what the hell they're talking about. Or they just blanked.
Yeah.
We have one of those. So, and any further comments on avoiding escape rooms that aren't in the United States?
I mean, don't.
Don't do it. Go to escape rooms everywhere. Just be safe. If you walk in a room and it's shoddy as hell, walk out. If they don't give you your refund, you know, take further action. But ultimately, you could always call the credit card company too. You know, there's always ways to get your money back. But I don't think vilifying the entire planet of the industry is a way to go. That's my 2 cents. I'm sticking to it. I'm Tone. That's Christina. This is Puzzle Talk. Thanks for joining us. We will be back next Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, with some new topics to talk about. In the meantime, be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff. We always check. We always reply.
Yep.
Till next week, we love you. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.